Hey guys, it's AXN here. Remember that weapon, the Red Death, that I did a review on last week? Well, it turns out that exotic pulse rifle was created from a legendary auto rifle known as the Red Spectre. So yeah, that's pretty cool. But what's even cooler is that this gun, unlike all other auto rifles, has a unique rate of fire to impact ratio. Every auto rifle falls under one of three categories: high impact, low rate of fire; high rate of fire, low impact; and then you have the medium rate of fire and impact guns. But that is where this gun pulls away from the competition. This gun has a medium rate of fire and a slightly lower impact profile than those that do max damage. So yeah, this gun's pretty good, especially for a legendary. But what is bad about this gun if there's all these unique things? Well, firstly, it has horrible stability, and you're going to want to increase that as much as possible. Secondly, it's an auto rifle, and at the moment, they are one of the worst primary weapons to use. So how do you get this gun? The Red Spectre is a random drop from the Crucible after any match ends, and I'll tell you, it took me a long time to get this to drop, and I guess it felt pretty rewarding when it dropped after a Trials of Osiris match. Because this gun is legendary, it gives you the chance to get the perfect rolls on everything, and could give you one of the best auto rifles ever. And remember, that also means that what I have is almost definitely not what you'll have. Personally, my Red Spectre came equipped with the Red Dot OAS sight, which grants better target acquisition, the Sure Shot IS, granting excellent handling and superb target acquisition, but less stability, and the ranged lens RLS3, which increases the range but makes the weapon feel heavier. My first main perk is called Grave Robber, where after a melee kill you have a chance to refill your magazine. Next up is a choice between Hand Loaded, which increases the range, a Pendant Magazine, which increases the magazine size at the cost of reload speed, and Armor Piercing Rounds, increasing the impact. Finally, I have Glass Half Full, which increases the damage of the gun when the magazine is half empty. But what is a perfect roll for this gun? For sights, really you can get whatever you're comfortable with, but red dot sights are always a great choice. For the first main perk, you'll want Rangefinder. No doubt about it, this gun will want all the range you can get. For your next choice, go for anything to increase the gun's stability, like Perfect Balance or Fitted Stock. This gun's stability, as I've said, is pretty low, and you're going to want to increase that. For the final perk, it's really up to you, but perks like Counterbalance to increase stability or Third Eye to keep your radar up while aiming are always great choices. You can tell that I didn't really get that good of a roll in mine. Even with my bad version of this gun, I was still able to see its potential. I feel like even if you get 2 out of 4 of the recommended perks that I've said, it could be a pretty good weapon in PvP. I don't see the potential in PvE, just because you'll almost never be trying to engage the enemies up close, and when you do, it would be better to be using a shotgun. And while you could say the same for PvP, you can still do pretty good as long as you know your engagements. So, how much damage will you be expecting out of this weapon? Well, in PvP, this weapon deals 16 damage to the body and 20 damage to the head at optimal range. I want to specify the optimal range part of this, because you will probably see this gun doing optimal range in only about 1/2 of your engagements. I've said it before, but I really don't like using this weapon in PvE. This is probably because it's an auto rifle, and auto rifles never have been that good in my eyes. Well, they used to be good, but ever since they've been nerfed, I haven't given them that good of a second look. But okay, for an auto rifle, this will be about as good as you can get. You can do some pretty decent damage if you're accurate, and if you get a good roll, that shouldn't be too hard. But let's talk damage. When in the level 40 mission, known as Blighted Coven, you'll see that against red health bar enemies, you'll be doing 414 damage to the body and 1035 damage to the head. And when facing off against yellow health bar enemies, you do 398 damage to the body and 498 damage to the head at optimal range. Just make sure you don't rush in on several enemies, because I accidentally died a few times recording in PvE, recording these damage value clips. So, the moral of the story is, don't be like me. I will point out, even though it is a little bit later in the video, that the Red Spectre does have a very good reload speed, and while that isn't as important of a stat as stability, it makes me happy knowing you don't have to wait through a long animation just to put a few shots back into the magazine every time. All this gun really needs if you actually wanted to use it competitively is stability. I will look past the range stat right now, just because I'm pretty sure in the future Bungie's gonna have to increase the range across all auto rifles. That's really just what's holding auto rifles back right now from being great, or at least being good. So if you manage to get a roll that has good stability, keep it, because one day, auto rifles will make a comeback. And then, and only then, will I whip this thing out of my vault. I was very excited when this gun dropped for me, and rightfully so. Even though auto rifles are bad, comparatively, this one's great. So the next time you get this to drop in the Crucible, hang on to it. So, overall, for an auto rifle, the Red Spectre is pretty good. While it doesn't have as good of stability as others, you can fix this with a few perks. The overall model of the gun is pretty similar to the Red Death, and it even has that bayonet on the front of it. Even though this weapon isn't that viable in things like Trials right now, it will be someday, just because of the fact that it's unique. And being unique in a game like Destiny is definitely a game changer. But hey, that's just my opinion. If you guys liked the video, make sure to leave a like. I always appreciate your comments, and leave your suggestions down below as well. If you really love the video, subscribe for more videos like this, because all of your support really helps, and helps the channel grow. And as always, I hope you've enjoyed this video, and I'll be seeing you in the next one.